Welcome to the Sleazy Podcast, the podcast about anything and everything, but mostly TV and movies. And now it's time to get sleazy.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 134 of the Sleazy Podcast. I'm your host, the world-renowned podcaster, Sleazy. Not really, but I'm joined by Mr. PBS tonight.
Howdy.
Hot Sauce from the Chicagoland area.
I'm here.
And we have an emergency sit-in, Jbone.
Yo.
He used to do the Nerdco Sportscast with us, or Sports Podcast, whatever we used to call it.
Keyboard Warriors or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the Keyboard Dubs. Well, we changed it afterwards, but, you know.
It was Nerdco Sports for a minute. And
then we changed it, and it just never... Nobody would post to it, so I just was like, oh, whatever. I'm done.
Nobody cares about sports.
Well, it was fun, but,
I care about sports very much.
It's the only thing he cares. Like, he watches every Braves game.
Yeah, all the Braves games.
Every Columbus Blue Jacket. And I'm like, dude, there's like 100 games. You can miss this game. Let's, do something else. He's like, nope. Cracks his bourbon up, and he's like, yeah, it's the Braves. I got to make fun of you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Rob's not here.
So I'm in his chair.
Yep. But so we've been gone for 2 weeks, our normal 2 weeks. I think we got a good show lined up. It's up to you to determine that, though.
I mean, is it better because Rob's not here, or is it worse? It's just
I don't know.
Net positive, negative.
I think Rob always adds something to the show. Whether
Rob is a content creator by being alive. He's a content.
I mean, between all the
jokes,
fucking movie trailers he sends me, let's talk about this on the show.
Jokes almost write themselves. I don't think was there one movie trailer in the chat this week?
No, yeah. He shared one, I think. But it was or was that you that shared it?
I don't remember.
Knives Out.
That was more of like a teaser.
Well, hey, just so you know, I'm gonna do as good of a job as producing as Rob does.
Hot Sauce we've lost your camera, by the way.
I got it. We're good.
All right. Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties on my end. I got it though. We're good. It's not up, but it's good. I'm there. I got it.
That's what she said.
Working through it. Should be coming up. We're good.
That's what she said.
He's back.
That's
working through it.
Setup.
Yep.
Situation.
He's working on some things out there in the Chicago area. So
trying.
Yeah, I am sad that Rob's not here. He did have a family emergency, so it's not like a typical thing like, hey, guys, I won't be able to come because I got to watch the dog. So he does have an excused absence tonight. But I figured we'd open the show with, the big news that's come out in the past couple days. Our boy Vince McMahon, the chairman and CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment, is in the news. And it's not like your typical good news that you want to be in. So someone sent an anonymous letter to the board of WWE?
Yeah.
And
anonymous.
They have uncovered Vince McMahon had an affair, and he paid this person $3 million hush money.
Allegedly.
But it was his own money, though, wasn't it?
Well, I thought he...
It's like a slush fund, isn't it?
I thought he gave her like an extra large salary.
Yeah, well, the thing was they hired her in at like $100,000.
Alleged hush money payment. The man has run the company for 40 years after taking over as his father in 1982. Still maintains creative output during the investigation. And he did appear on tonight's SmackDown.
He came out and acted like nothing happened on SmackDown. I will say that.
See, pledged complete cooperation to investigation by the special committee, of course. Has anybody ever said, I'm not cooperating?
Yeah.
The Wall Street Journal reported on Wednesday that the board was investigating a $3 million payout made to a woman to cover up an alleged consensual affair between a WWE paralegal and McMahon, who has faced accusations of sexual misconduct in the past. Several other non-disclosure agreements reached in relation to other misconduct claim against McMahon and head of talent relations John Laurinaitis by women who worked for WWE. Stephanie McMahon is going to be acting CEO, chair, whatever.
Chairwoman.
Chairwoman.
I think that's what they're calling it, chairwoman. Yeah.
But isn't she kind of currently on a hiatus from the company as well over some stuff?
No, I think. Well, it sounds like they gave Shane McMahon the boot.
He got the boot, but I thought she was stepping down or something.
He was temporarily stepping back from some kind of duties.
Yeah. Well, she's back now. I don't think she has a choice. Yeah, they said they hired the paralegal in at $100,000, and then a year later, her salary got doubled to $200,000 when the affair was happening. But
here's my thing: like Vince is like 80 or something, right?
Yeah, he's still. I mean, he looks great for an 80-year-old, but you can tell Vince McMahon is
like, are you having
starting to turn that corner with Father Time?
Are you having a consensual relationship with like an 80-year-old?
Does he still wrestle?
No. Well, he did
$200,000. I am.
He came out and gave
Stone Cold, right?
No, it was Pat
McAfee.
He gave Pat McAfee an ass whooping at WrestleMania.
That's crazy. He's 80.
Hey, he took some bumps, man.
Yeah, he got stunned. When was that?
That was a terrible stunner. It was at
the same night.
WrestleMania, yeah.
Stone Cold gave him the stunner, and it was so bad. Like Stone Cold was laughing because he didn't take it good at all. But yeah, Vince McMahon is all in the news, and I guess they said like the rumor is that between him and John Laurinaitis, which is what is he?
He was the head of talent relations.
They would like Vince McMahon would just like pawn her off to John whenever he felt like it. You know, like, hey, here you go, you have your fun with her now. Yeah, so somebody sent these emails in that had all these details and the payment agreement and the non-DAs and but I mean, I wonder who did that. I mean, obviously somebody wants Vince McMahon to be out of the business.
I think a lot of people want him to be out of the business.
I mean, your average fan doesn't want Vince McMahon writing storylines anymore.
What's the big issue with this? Is it he used like money from WWE? Or
I think that's sort of the big.
They're trying to figure out if he used company money.
Okay,
yeah, I think that's sort of the big. That's the illegal part of it.
I think that whoever's on his side is saying no, it was personal money. But I mean, it's kind of funny. You look at Vince McMahon's wife, and no disrespect to Linda, I'm sure she's a very talented woman. She served on our country under President Trump, and she makes her own. She has her own political career, to begin with. But you see Linda McMahon, and you see Vince McMahon, and you see all the, collection of the most beautiful women in the world that he has working under him. And you got to think, like, how many affairs has Vince really had over the years? And one has finally come out when he's 80 some years old.
So, actually, he's 76.
76.
And the paralegal involved with the affair was 41 years old.
41. I saw a picture of her. She didn't look 41, but I guess people look younger nowadays. Yeah, depending on who they are.
Barring her from discussing her relationship or disparaging McMahon.
What's the point of signing these non-disclosures? Because they always get broken.
There is no point.
There really isn't. Like, these people, they sign non-disclosures and they take the money, and then when the timing's right, they fucking go right to the media and they just fucking shit all over the non-disclosure. So it's like, what's the point of fucking having them?
This is from Forbes. It says emails obtained by the Wall Street Journal allege McMahon hired the paralegal at a salary of $100,000, gave her a $1,000 raise as soon as their relationship began, and quote, gave her like a toy to company head of talent relations John Laurinaitis.
Yeah, I know people are not a fan of John Laurinaitis either. So it sounds like there's some headhunting going on at WWE. But I figured that'd be interesting to talk about, grab some attention from wrestling fans and just people in general, little juicy topic to talk about. Vince McMahon having an affair at 70 some years old.
Yeah, I don't know if wrestling's as pop culturally big as it used to be, like when we were younger. I mean, it was.
No, it's not as big as when we were teenagers, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny. Like, man, it was like I got push notifications like at 3:00 in the morning when this news broke, and it was like nonstop until 10:00 the next day. So people are, I mean, they're pushing that story for whatever reason, but
I mean, it's big news though. I mean, that's a decently sized corporation with a lot of fucking money behind it, and that's big news.
It's a company that operates worldwide now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they put events on in, how many different parts of the world? I mean, Australia, UK, Saudi Arabia now. I mean, they do, how many events in Saudi Arabia do they do? 2 times a year now, I think. So, I mean, I guess, like you said, it is big news. So, but no surprise that it blew my phone up, I guess.
People have kind of been out for Vince for a long time. There's the steroid scandal in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Like Owen Hart's death. A lot of wrestlers have died sort of young over the years, too.
Yeah. And I guess there's talent now that's starting to speak up about like working conditions, too, at WWE. But I don't know how true those are. I just saw a couple tweets about that. So it definitely, I think this is one of those issues where this is just the beginning and more people will probably step up and say something, depending on what happens. So
I think it should be relatively easy to prove or disprove, right? Because it just comes down to, is it company money or not that he used
right
for the,
and I mean, they'll be
NDA or whatever,
follow the money. They'll be able to do that pretty easily.
There's always a lot of gray area in this stuff anyway. So
their revenue on their latest income statement was $1.17 billion with a gross profit of $487 million.
Jesus, man, that is a lot of fucking money.
To paraphrase my favorite DiCaprio from Wolf of Wall Street, rich people never really go to jail.
No,
they don't.
And I mean, he's so fucking old. I mean, it'd be a waste of time. I mean, the guy still does like squat like 6 or. Do
you think if he like went to jail, he could start like prison wrestling federation?
Yeah,
we'll have that up and running.
Well, do you think it'd be like an R. Kelly situation where the inmates are, they're making R. Kelly sing all their favorite hits, and they'd be like, "Go ahead, say it." Like, you're fired.
Vince, tell me about Hulk.
Yeah, let's hear some more stories.
Tell me about the Macho Man.
Did you bang Trish Stratus? I mean, let's be honest. All right, so we got Vince McMahon in the books. We're gonna move on to some crazy news here. What article should we start off with, Mr. PBS?
Would you let me know which one you want to start off with?
Well, let's see here. I've got these fucking Facebook stories from Rob Zilla posted in here. I don't know what the fuck it is.
It's a movie thing, I believe.
Okay, that's the end of the show. Let's start off with Geico.
Okay,
you want to read that one?
Yeah. Let me pull this up here real quick. Dun dun dun. Nation and world news here from the Virginian Pilot. Geico to pay $5.2 million to woman who says she caught STD in former partner's car. From the Kansas City Star here. Kansas City, Missouri. The Missouri Court of Appeals has affirmed that an insurance company must pay a $5.2 million settlement granted to a Jackson County woman who claimed she unwittingly caught a sexually transmitted disease from her former romantic partner in his car. Does anybody ever wittingly catch a sexually transmitted disease?
Right.
In an opinion issued Tuesday, a 3-judge panel found that the judgment entered against the Geico General Insurance Company through earlier arbitration proceedings was valid.
Wow.
The insurance company sought to undo the action, claiming errors were made in Jackson County Circuit Court, and the settlement agreement was not done in line with Missouri law.
How is that the car insurance company's fault?
That was my question. Yeah.
Like they don't own the vehicle. I mean,
the incident happened in the car, so it's a car-related injury.
In his car, and it was insured by Geico.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
why did she get that much money?
Yeah,
like if I get hit in a car, I get $1,000.
It wasn't Geico's. Geico didn't fuck you without the condom on and give you the STD.
I mean, to be fair, it is an insurance company, so it probably has.
Yeah, I mean, they fucked somebody over one way or the other, but
Geico's Buffett, isn't it?
I mean, that's just it's crazy. So how many people now are going to be saying like, oh, you know, this dude gave me this, so I'm filing a claim, taking you to court.
There's a lot of, and I didn't even think to try and look more into it because I looked at it and was very confused by it. It happened and it went to an arbitration, and the arbitration ruled that Geico was responsible for paying her. Then Geico was like, no, you can't do that. That wasn't done correctly, the arbitration. So then it went to trial, and then the judges were like, yeah, we're not going to go over the arbitration. It's really weird. Like there's a really convoluted reason for how and why it happened.
It sounds like it just went down a tunnel of bullshit, and people were like, we don't want to fuck with it. You know, just pay the money.
It was like a loophole, and it's weird. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick.
That's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, I just can't. Why that much money?
Yeah, I mean, I guess pain and suffering over the course of a lifetime. I mean, what did they say? What disease it was? Did they just say an STD?
I think it says
it was HPV.
Yeah,
HPV.
The guy knew he was infected.
The guy knew he was infected with HPV. All right.
Okay. This is from a Reddit post, and
the car was a Hyundai sedan, by the way.
If we're in a car together and I shoot you, Geico's not paying you money because I shot you.
Yeah, I mean, does this open up?
It was a Hyundai Genesis, just to be.
How's that for a story? I got HPV and a Hyundai.
I don't even know what it looks like. What's that?
Genesis are really nice cars, actually.
If anyone is wondering why the amount was so high, she settled with the guy that gave her the STD for $5.2 million. Geico refused to pay it on the grounds they weren't meaningfully involved with the settlement offer. Geico sued since they argued contracting HPV has no nexus to the ownership, maintenance, or covered use of the 2014 Hyundai Genesis.
I wouldn't think that this would be the last of this. I got to think Geico's got to be challenging it again.
Someone asked why Geico will be liable. It looks like the arbitrator found that the sexual contact leading to the injury happened in the car. The fact that they had sex in the car is what makes Geico liable, apparently.
So, okay, so if somebody has sex in a car and they get pregnant, is Geico responsible to raise that fucking kid now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, where do you draw the line with this?
You know, part of the thing is it says Geico had told the woman its auto insurance coverage didn't apply because the, quote, damages claimed did not arise out of the normal use of the vehicle. Well, I mean, you know, people have been having sex in cars for a long time. So does that count as
since the beginning of cars?
Does that count as a normal use of the vehicle?
Yeah, I can't. There's no way that this is gonna.
I can take a shit in a car, but that doesn't mean that it's normal uses of a toilet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a weird story.
Here's some more stuff. These are all people commenting on Reddit. This person says she gets HPV, decides to put in a claim for damages since it was injury or illness she got in the car, which was insured for liability by Geico. Geico says, fuck that, denies the claim under their agreement, and it goes to arbitration. Arbitrator finds that, yeah, she did get the injury or illness in the car, so Geico is on the hook. Geico appeals that on the basis that the arbitration decision is bonkers. Court says, nah, friends, you signed the arbitration agreement. This is what you agreed to. You got to stick with it and doesn't take the appeal. And then they said, edit, actual legal professionals are responding below that she was suing the guy, not Geico. Geico got roped in because of the liability coverage. She did not put in a claim first, like I made it sound like here. So she was suing the guy, and because Geico insures the car, they got caught up in it.
That's insane.
Yeah, it sounded like they're saying that Geico had some sort of obligation to defend the guy. That's what they're kind of making it sound like, because it was his policy. So Geico should have been paying to defend the guy.
I'd have been like,
and Geico is claiming
we
didn't have to defend the guy, whatever.
But yeah, if I'm Geico, I'm like, yeah, fuck off, dude. You're on your own. It's what does the world come to? It's amazing though that they got looped in.
The federal case is set for a jury trial, which is currently slated to begin in a Kansas City court in October.
Yeah.
So
100 docket entries have been made.
Does this make you rethink about having sex in your car? I mean, if you know we've got two married guys here and a taken guy here.
Can you? I mean, how do you show that it's like normal vehicle use? My wife and I have sex in that vehicle at least once a week.
Right. I mean, you'd have to prove,
I'm thinking about canceling State Farm and signing up with Geico so they'll be on the hook.
Yeah. Do you show them like every scene in a movie, like the Breaking Bad scene where him and Summer just decide to bang one out in the back of the minivan, while they're waiting on their kid or whatever.
When your wife's pregnant and you go to the hospital and they ask for your insurance card, you just throw out your Geico card, say send them the bill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're actually responsible for this because this baby was conceived.
Son, you were legally conceived in a Hyundai Genesis.
We have Geico. We're covered.
Can you? What's the? Is it Farmers that does all this commercial with J.K. Simmons?
Yeah.
So
Where he tells
We've seen a thing or two. We've seen a thing or two.
You're not going to believe this, but
all right, class. Yeah, I mean, where do you draw the line? What happens to the guy who's rushing to work and he goes and buys a hot cup of coffee and he slams on his brake and spills that coffee all over him and gets 3rd-degree burns? Does Geico cover that now too?
No, you sue McDonald's. We've played that out before.
Yeah. I'd like to sue McDonald's because they made me fat. Did those people ever win their suits against McDonald's?
The lady with the coffee did years ago. I don't know about anybody else.
Oh yeah,
dude, she got fucked up though. We laugh about it. She got fucking mangled.
Her.
Yeah, that's crazy.
People always use that as a case of things getting out of hand, but the case is actually different than sort of in the popular imagination. She got 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah,
her genitals got mutilated from getting burnt.
McDonald's had some policy about how hot their coffee was supposed to be. That was insanely hot.
Okay, so they no warning obviously to customers.
I forget exactly what, but it kind of gets made fun of. But when you actually break it down and look at why she won,
how did you know her genitals got mutilated?
There's pictures.
There's pictures of it.
There's pictures. Yeah, if you look up the McDonald's coffee court case, you can find all the documents. And she originally had only sued for, I think, the medical bills just to be covered from having to go to the hospital and the burns and everything. But right. McDonald's kind of told her to get fucked, and that's when it went really south, and she sued the shit out of them.
I think she was an elderly lady.
Yeah, I'd be pissed if they told me to get fucked. I'd be like, okay, I was gonna take it easy. Now I want everything.
Yeah,
I want my own fucking McDonald's now. Man, that's fucking crazy. So what's our next story we're gonna go with here?
It depends. You want to talk about some?
Let's do man bitten by gator.
Okay. Man bitten by gator he mistook for dog, Sarasota deputies say. The alligator was captured and the man was taken to the hospital. I like to hope so. Northport, Florida. A man was bitten by an alligator he mistook for a dog early Tuesday morning in Sarasota County, authorities say. Deputies were dispatched around 12:30 a.m. to the Warm Mineral Springs Motel on South Tamiami Trail in Northport. Investigators say the man told them he was walking outside the motel overnight when he spotted a dark figure moving along the bushes on the shell path.
A dark figure.
He stated the figure appeared to look like a dog with a long leash, which is why he wasn't hesitant to move out of the way. A sheriff's office spokesperson wrote in an email, that's when deputies say the alligator bit his right leg, ripping off a chunk of his muscle as he tried to get away. Luckily, he was able to flag down one deputy who was already in the area on an unrelated call. The deputy called for paramedics. The man was taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital in Venice. Sergeant, this is almost like a funny name. Sergeant James Achille, not James Achilles, but James Achille, managed to capture the gator before the licensed trapper arrived. The trapper then removed the reptile from the area. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission also responded to the scene.
Do you think he was like, I want to know doggy?
I want to know about this guy going after the gator before the trapper even gets there.
Yeah. When have you ever seen a figure that looks like a dog with a long leash?
It's a big ass leash.
Yeah. I mean,
does it say how big the gator was?
Gators don't look like dogs. I mean, they're lower to the ground and they move.
What time was this?
I said he was taking a walk at night. Let me see if I can find a.
He had, How old
He
did
just
they
got
say
out of last call. Was
Was he
drunk.
inebriated? Yeah.
he had to have been, I mean, either super old and couldn't fucking see to begin with.
The alligator was 7-1. 12:34 a.m.
What dog is that long?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a dog that long.
Deputies were dispatched to the outside area of the Warm Mineral Springs Motel around 12:34 a.m. 49-year-old man was walking around outside when he saw the dark figure.
And man, did it say how bad he got fucked up?
It tore off a piece of muscle. That's pretty fucked
Yeah.
It said his bit his right leg, pulling on his muscle/tissue.
That would hurt.
Ripped a
Listen,
chunk-
I'm 46. In 3 years, I do not foresee myself confusing gators and dogs. That dude something wasn't right.
Do you think? I mean,
like, even if you saw a dog wandering around at midnight, would you kind of like, oh, let me go?
I mean, well, there's coyotes and shit around here, so maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. I would be hesitant. I wouldn't go near it. Like, I'd probably keep my distance. And if it started running after me, I'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah, if I can see clearly it's a little dog or something, like whatever. But like, even if it's like some random like pit bull running around, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna go and like, hey
doggy,
yeah,
what are you up to tonight? He had to have been drinking. He'd be like, do you want a drink?
Yeah, there's no doubt.
You want a drink?
He had to have been drinking.
What's the Happy Gilmore? Gator took my damn hand.
Yeah. Yeah, what was that? Chuck? That was his name, Chuck.
Well, I thought it was Chubbs.
Chubbs. Yeah,
Chubbs.
Chubbs.
Yeah, Chubbs.
Chubbs. And the what was the caddy's name? Otto?
I don't remember.
I think it's Otto. The caddy was awesome in that though.
Backup producer. Come on.
Yeah. I told you, I'm doing as good
He's just here he's just a body.
He's color commentator tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just calling it as he sees it. But yeah, Happy Gilmore, phenomenal movie.
For sure.
Yeah. Man, I just realized I skipped the first segment. We just went right into crazy news, but it's okay. We'll deal with it.
Get another arrow up there.
Yeah. Point it down, please. All right. So do we want to go into, we'll do this one real quick. All right. Top Gun Maverick should be grounded. Copyright suit claims. Paramount straps in to defend ourselves vigorously.
I saw that one.
Good morning, aviators, Tom Cruise says in a line from blockbuster Top Gun Maverick. This is your captain speaking. Today's exercise is dogfighting. Specifically, there is now a legal dogfight between the film's box office, high flyer Paramount Pictures, and the Israeli-based widow and son of the author of 1983 article that inspired the original 1986 movie.
I didn't realize that the original was based on an article.
Neither did I.
Yeah,
Guess it kind of makes sense.
In a copyright suit filed Monday in California federal court, Shosh Yane and Yuval Yane, I hope I'm not butchering their names.
Probably.
Yeah, probably, but I don't,
Yeah, you're butchering their names, you anti-Semite.
No, it's not on purpose. One unspecified, but clearly big bucks damages from the studio, and with a very odd sense of timing and injunction to stop screenings and distribution of the May 27th release sequel, as well as any more movies in the franchise. God, these some fucking party poopers, man. So calling Top Gun Maverick derivative, the Mark Toberoff and Alex Kaczynski represented Yane's allege that Paramount is thumbing its nose at the statute that allows the termination of rights after 35 years, read the court complaint here. These claims are without merit, and we will defend ourselves vigorously, said a Paramount spokesperson today in response. The studio will obviously have to respond to the suit in the federal docket in due course. In the May 1983 edition of California Magazine, Yane penned Top Guns about the pilots and program located in a second floor cubby or offices at the east end of Hangar 1 at Miramar. The piece was optioned ASAP, and Yane was cited in the credits of the first Top Gun. All cool as Iceman so far, right? Don't you like how these writers try to add their like cocky sense of humor into it? Well, yes, but then you get the long delayed Top Gun Maverick, and the rights to the article reverting back to Yanni in January 2020. Despite the 2022 sequel clearly having derived from the story, Paramount consciously failed to secure a new license of the film and rights in the copyrighted story following Yanni's recovery of their U.S. copyright on January 24th, 2020, reads the 3 claim jury trial demanding civil complaint. The Yannis contend that, and Paramount denies that the 2022 sequel does not qualify for prior derivative works exception under 17 USC because it was not completed until long after January 24th, 2020. Wow. I'm not going to read any more of those.
That's pretty much it.
We've got the idea.
That's the gist. Yeah. Right. That last line too, because the specific date they were saying that it had to have been completed by that before that date.
Now we know why they held it over for so long.
Well, I think their contention is that they finished before that date.
Yeah,
and they're claiming, the other side is claiming they didn't.
Top Gun's been done for at least
2 years,
right?
Well, probably the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, so somewhere
they held on to it for 2 years because it was supposed to come out that first summer of the pandemic. So, but it doesn't sound like they've stopped any showings of it at all.
No,
because it just cost
because this story came out like the day I went to see it.
Like
last Tuesday or whatever, and I was like, I hope that nothing happens, but obviously nothing.
Now Tom Cruise just cruised to over 800 million worldwide, and it's his biggest movie ever. Yep. His biggest grossing movie ever. So Tom Cruise is laughing all the way to the fucking bank. And I'm sure Paramount is too.
By the way, I'm jealous because when you on the last pod, when you saw it, you were talking about it. You said there was only one trailer for the movie.
One trailer.
I had like 7 trailers.
We had one trailer and it was for Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
How Tom Cruise is that?
I had like 7 trailers.
And we had a video from Tom Cruise before the movie started.
I got that too.
We made this for you. Like, no, Tom, you made it for you.
Yeah. Tom just wants to please people.
Yeah. No, Tom wants more money. Yeah,
can I somebody shared this on Twitter. It must be from an article or something, but I meant to send it in the group chat, but I forgot last night. But I think it's funny enough to share. It's a story about Miles Teller while he was working on Top Gun.
I read this earlier. Yeah.
And he said, this is Teller talking, and this article says, my blood work comes back.
With the
wait, hold on, here we go. Start. I'm not feeling too good, Teller explained to Myers, and I was really hot and I just started itching like crazy. So I get out of the jet and I'm just covered in hives, like head to toe. Teller was taken to a doctor and had a blood analysis taken. He said he then went home and took an oatmeal bath to reduce the hives. The next day he got the results back from the blood test. My blood work comes back and I have flame retardant, pesticides, and jet fuel in my blood, Teller says. Thankfully, Teller recovered and was allowed to go back to work. He couldn't wait to tell Cruise, an actor known for incurring a fair share of injuries due to all the stunts he's done. Quote, I go to the set the next day, and Tom's like, so how did it go, Miles? What did they find? I was like, well, Tom, it turns out I have jet fuel in my blood. And without even skipping a beat, Tom just goes, yeah, I was born with a kid.
He's such an asshole, isn't he?
If Tom Cruise said something like that to me, I'd just be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I could have had something that could have possibly like killed me. Like,
there's no way that's good for you.
I was born with a kid.
That's such
and he just like flipped his sunglasses down and walked away after that.
That's just like such a Tom Cruise
I
line.
just imagine Tom's like that guy that says, like, he communicates to you and then he's done with you and he walks away.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. He has no need to hear what you're going to say back to him. Like, they said, I mean, that had to have been hard. I heard that, he made them reshoot the beach football scene. Like they shot it and, all the actors were like dieting and, they had their body specifically right for,
yeah.
And then they shot it and they all went out and had beers and, food, obviously like good food, cheap food. And then the next day he's like, yeah, we got to shoot the whole thing all over again. So they had to all go, right back into the gym and pump up.
Well, this is like his baby. So,
yeah. I mean, do you think he's wanted to make Top Gun this long? I mean,
no, actually, there was another article. I was talking about the director, I think Kosinski, and Tom Cruise kind of didn't want to do it, but he made a couple of movies with Kosinski. He made Oblivion, and I forget what the other one is. So Kosinski had to go pitch him.
Yeah.
And he kind of pitched the whole, you're going to show up and be like sort of a father figure to Goose.
Yeah.
And he with his sort of pitch on it, he convinced Tom.
Rooster.
Yeah, and he went to
get it right, fuckhead.
He went to
you got Eric last time.
He went to Paris because.
How did you not know he was Rooster? By the way,
because I haven't seen the movie.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
well, you still should know it.
No. And he went
Goose
to Paris.
is dead, don't you? Did you watch the first Top Gun?
Yeah, I know Goose. And he
How
goes.
can be his father figure if he's dead?
Tom Cruise is the father figure to Goose.
But Goose is dead.
Goose is dead.
Exactly. He went back in time. This is a different movie I'm talking about. And I'm your grandpa. What? So he had to go to Paris to pitch this because that was when they were working on the previous Mission Impossible. And he pitched it to Tom Cruise, and he said Tom Cruise pulled his phone out right there, called the head of Paramount, and said, "We're making the next Top Gun sequel."
When did he become a pilot? Was it for this movie, or was he a pilot?
I think it was before.
He's always had pilot license, and
I think he learned during the first Top Gun.
Oh, okay. I was wondering when he actually became a pilot.
Anybody that was casted as a pilot had to learn how to fly.
Yeah.
They had to learn how to fly these planes, the F-18s, and they started out small and then worked their way up.
I think they all had pilots with them.
That's
while they were shooting, but
because I mean, all that footage is cameras,
but they weren't flying though.
I think they had pilots with them.
Yeah, I think there was pilots.
Somebody's flying.
They were in the plane.
They had to know how to fly. They had to know how to fly. That was a requirement, and that was part of the delay. Because this movie probably should have been done in 2019, and it got delayed because he wanted to learn how to fly fighter pilots.
Yeah.
I guess there's
like the one scene where they go inverted and Rooster hits the top of the what do you call
it?
Yeah, the glass, the cover. Like that's actually his seatbelt wasn't tightened down enough, and he went up and hit the glass and came back down.
Yeah.
So I mean that's all real footage of them, them hyperventilating, withstand the G's and all that. So I mean, it's a phenomenal movie how it's shot. I mean, really.
There's a plane at the end of the movie. I guess that's like a prop plane or whatever. I guess that's Tom Cruise's actual plane.
Of course it is.
Oh, yeah. The one he flies away with at the very end. Yeah. He flies his,
Spoiler.
Yeah. He flies somebody special in it with him. But, yeah, man, super crazy, though. I mean, I wonder if they'll actually be awarded anything.
How much would you take? Like if Paramount called you up and said how much to shut up, what would you take?
Well, I mean, that depends how much the first copyright, credit was worth. I mean, 800 million. I'm getting something that's going to take care of me.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the they've already done all this work, and they've done like the money's been made. So like you could ask for the world. Like
like what would you take? Like if Paramount called you up and said, "We'll give you $1 million to shut up," you taking it?
Not $1 million.
Oh no way.
And 800. We're talking about 800 million here. I mean, I'd want 10% of that.
Yeah, for something you own the you allegedly own the copyright to.
I'd want 10%.
You don't anymore. You don't anymore.
Do you think Paramount's like on the phone right now? Like, can we get Johnny Depp's lawyers? What's that girl's name? Can we get her?
Would you like? I'd want part of the condition. Like, I want Tom Cruise to deliver that money to me.
Yeah. I want to fly with Tom Cruise for a day. Then he'd probably die.
I'm saying they'll buy the copyright. Like, you don't own it anymore. We'll pay you, but it's our shit now.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I mean, I'd settle for 10. What would you settle for? 10% of the movie's total earnings worldwide.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, whatever. I mean, 10% would be fine.
It's astronomically more money than we'll ever see in our lifetime. What about you, Hot Sauce? Hot Sauce is the dude that's going to go to battle with this.
Yeah, I get to keep the copyright though. I'm not selling you the copyright. I would do probably 5 million.
5 million? All right.
Let's say 10% of like, everything from now into the future.
5, but I keep the copyright, so I can spin off of this all fucking day because it's mine. I'll sell the rights to fucking Warner or something and make another movie.
That's the key too. If they settle and say I want X amount of dollars and keep the copyright,
right?
Then that's a whole different thing because then you could like Mike said, go and.
You think Tom Cruise is like involved in all the the legal things with Paramount.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, because
he's like
he's a producer.
It's like, we're not going to give this fucking asshole any money.
Oh, I'm sure.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, I can just see Tom Cruise.
He's a producer on this. I mean, this is his baby. So I think.
What was it in Tropical Thunder when he played
Lev Grossman or whatever?
Lex Grossman or something. Like, yeah, he was like, we don't negotiate with terrorists. He hangs the phone up on him. Yeah, we're not going to negotiate with you. Sorry. Come back with a more reasonable response or request. I mean, so I think we have one more article left in crazy news.
Yeah, I think we got one more to talk about here.
All right, let's get it.
Pull this one back up here.
This is all Mr. PBS right here too. So
from the Guardian here, pop up. Sealed Back to the Future VHS tape sells for $75,000 at U.S. auction. Copy of film on now antiquated format was previously owned by actor Tom Wilson, who played Biff Tannen in movie series. You can see here, I brought my little prop. This is my personal VHS copy.
He walked in proudly with this.
So if a still one's 75,000 or whatever, can you get 1,000 for that one?
Well, but see, I'm not so I don't know, but look at the action on that. Still good. Comes right out.
It's obviously not sealed. It's got some damage on the corners.
It's got the runtime right there, 1 hour 56 minutes for Rob.
Where is runtime Rob right
What's
now?
that white label there on the top of your?
Oh, that's just UPC on the box.
No, on the cassette.
Just a UPC number.
Okay.
Yep, we got Back to the Future, color, 1 hour 56 minutes, digitally recorded, closed captioned, DNR, PG, Dolby Surround.
Look how fucking excited he is right now.
Yeah.
Look at him.
The juices are flowing right now.
This is Christmas, like 1992-ish right here.
Really?
That's paying for his wedding now.
That's stocking stuffer right there.
Are you going to get married?
No.
Okay. But just checking.
Maybe not. Someday. Who knows?
See?
Get married and give up half of that fucking collection? Not a chance.
All right.
Kyle has stuff to protect. Mr. PBS does.
No, actually,
prenup.
I've still got a box of VHSs at home. I really would get rid of them, but you can't. I like to recycle them, but you can't recycle VHS tapes because you have to take the tape out. You can recycle the plastic cassette.
You haven't been able to watch these in a while.
No, I don't watch VHSs anymore. No.
I mean, I still know people that watch VHSs just to get the feel of the.
Yeah, I have a VCR still.
I've still got a VCR.
I fucking pitched mine a while ago. I was kind of sad because it had Black Sheep in it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I've still got like one of those combo DVD VCRs.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't watch.
Do you have one of those big screens that sits on the floor too? Still?
No.
Remember those things? You just fucking rolled them in and it sat somewhere and
until
it died.
TVs were furniture.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd stack candles on top of it and shit.
It's like the wicker speaker cover.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, they made some cool shit back in the day. They don't make cool shit like that anymore.
Yeah, I remember turning the TV with a dial on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody, I was like, yeah, I learned how to count off of an old cable box because it went from I think it was in twos or something like that.
You had the brown slider box.
Yeah. It went like 2, 6, 8, 10. And I remember one of the last channels was HBO. So I remember, I just learned how to count by changing the TV stations, obviously. But you remember that box then?
Yeah, the brown slider box. It had a little it was kind of like this dusty, dirty looking brown color. It had a little strip on the front that was the numbers, and it was like .2, .4, .6, .8, and a little slider, like a little caret mark that just slid across the front. It was a little white piece. Yeah.
I can still remember watching the premiere of Lethal Weapon on HBO with my dad. My mom was at work and my dad was like, we're going to watch this tonight. I was like, yeah, that's what's up. Carrying on with this.
All right, a sealed VHS tape of the hit 1980s movie Back to the Future has sold for $75,000 in the first ever auction of the now antiquated video playing format. The auction, held by Texas-based Heritage Auctions, featured 260 sealed VHS tapes, most of which were first edition copies of movies from the 70s and the 1980s. Kind of weird to say from the 70s and the 1980s, not just 70s and 80s. Right. The Hill reported that the price tag meant the tape was probably the most expensive ever sold. The copy of Back to the Future was previously owned by the actor Tom Wilson, who portrayed Biff Tannen in the movie series. It included a signed note from Wilson that said, "This is a VHS tape of the first release of Back to the Future, sent to me by the studio at that time. Since I knew that the VHS platform would be around forever, I saved it for later, and now I can't find a VCR. Oh well, enjoy. There is a mini boom among collectors for old VHS tapes, especially those that are first editions of hit movies or are in their original wrapping.
Wow.
I wonder how you tell if they're a first edition. Like, how do you know if it's what? Like
There's got to be something.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any kind of like different copyright on there because I kind of took a peek at it just to see, but I didn't see anything that would.
Yeah,
suggest.
obviously, someone who knows would know, but.
And it will do a side story to that Sleazy found. An auction for a VHS copy of Ghostbusters just surpassed $4,000 and is still climbing. An original VHS copy of Ghostbusters is currently up for auctions through the popular website, Heritage Auctions again. And with still 15 days, this is from May 24th. So not 15 days anymore. It's got to be pretty close if not done, right?
Yeah. Should be anyways.
Before you grab your childhood copy and throw it up on eBay, here are a few things to note. The one at auction has been professionally graded, receiving an 85+, which is deemed near mint. Also, it's still sealed, looking like it was just purchased from the local video store circa 1985.
Wow.
I found my Blockbuster card the other day.
I found mine not too long ago. I was like, wow, look at this relic.
Was the close.
They make like blankets that look like the Blockbuster card now.
Really?
Yeah, you can get those.
Yeah, I saw it from the Grove City Blockbuster. I was like,
I think I've still got a Blockbuster card.
Awesome.
That was the best, man, going in the Blockbuster and just looking at all the movies. And like some of the best movies you found were like those Blockbuster exclusive ones that, Blockbuster helped fund or whatever.
Get a Rotolos.
Yeah, get some Rotolos.
Is that where Zilla found his love for shitty movies, is picking up stuff off the Blockbuster shelves that nobody wanted?
No, Rob Zilla was going to that one video store in the South End.
Hollywood Video?
Well, he probably went to Hollywood Video, but
I went to there sometimes back in the day.
Yeah, I used to go there after work.
What about Rent-A-Flick?
Yeah, Rent-A-Flick. That's the one.
Where was that at?
Off Williams and Lockbourne, yeah. They're still there, actually.
Yeah,
Rent-A-Flick.
It's got to be a front for a drug,
no doubt,
a drug operation, because they're like a pool store in there too, and then half of it's like Rent-A-Flick.
And Cardos
Williams and Lockbourne.
It's next to Cardos.
Oh,
Cardos
okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you own the Ghostbusters VHS?
I can't remember if I think I threw all my VHS tapes away. There might be a small box in my little storage room over there. And I own Ghostbusters, but I didn't have the actual cover. I bought it. I think my mom got it for me from a video store. So it was in like a clear case that you snap together. But yeah, I think I had Ghostbusters 2, and it's
because I never had Ghostbusters, but I always remember the VHS tape, the black cover.
Yep.
With the no ghost sign and the red border. I always thought it was kind of a neat cover.
It was a hot VHS back in the day, man. And it's just crazy seeing people pay such outdated
something that you're not going to watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a collector's item for people that choose to collect it. But even if I had money like that, I don't think I would waste it on a VHS.
No, but it'd be cool if you had it. Like, it'd be cool to have.
Yeah. Maybe put in like a little glass case. And
I can go buy his autograph for less than $75,000 and be totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, I could go around and get all the cast autograph for probably less than that, maybe not Michael J. Fox's anymore, but
you can get a signed pop from him for $300 or $400.
Can you really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'd pay $300 or $400 for a Back to the Future pop of Michael J. Fox.
It always comes up in my Facebook ads. Next time I see it, I'll share it. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
I know that GalaxyCon that keeps popping up. That'll have events where they just sign and send it to you.
Yeah, they have different options where you can choose to buy a poster or a pop or something like that, and then you pay the price and then they ship it to you after the signing. Or if you want to send something in, it's a little extra, and then you ship it to them and then they get it signed and ship it back to you. But I don't know how much I'd trust them to, send something valuable of mine in and hope it gets signed in the back. What if they just send something in and they lose your shit? They sent you just a regular 8x10 and then they lose your giant poster you sent them.
That's how like sports cards are. You can like kids like send sports cards to athletes all the time.
Oh yeah,
just hope they get them.
Their
back.
PO boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
I've actually got a friend, Davey, super jealous. He found Ben Affleck's PO box, and he sent a Batman picture in, and he got it back with the autograph. I was like, you fucker.
When was that?
A couple years ago. I want to say back when. Well, it's probably back when Batman versus Superman was going on. But anything else from the articles?
I know that's about it. I've tried to search that Heritage Auctions for other VHSs. You got to sign in to get them to tell you what they sold for. There's a Back to the Future. Obviously, there's Goonies.
Wow.
That was also sold on June 9th. A copy of Jaws on June 9th. Ghostbusters. Rambo First Blood.
Such an awesome movie.
Star Wars New Hope. There was a Top Gun Diet Pepsi promo VHS.
Oh wow!
Might have to see if I can sign in some way and see what they come up with.
Mr. PBS is about to buy the year membership so he can see all this shit and start bidding on some VHS tapes he wants.
There is here's some that are still up for bid. The 1992 Sports Illustrated Year in Sports with Dream Team VHS tape. It says guide value or estimate $200 and up. Opening bid is $50. There's a Star Wars CBS Fox video from 1990, very fine condition, that it will open for bidding around 4th of July. So there you go. Save your, Bitcoin's crashing, but VHS is going up, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey man, I read an article the other day that said Lego sets are more valuable than gold. How crazy is that? I mean, like,
I believe that as much as it costs.
Yeah, I mean, some of these sets, they go quick, and it's people that's, it's not people that are wanting to build them. It's people that are holding them to sell them, They go in and buy all these stores up. But what can you do? It's like a PS5, man. They're fucking unicorns right now. Isn't it hard to believe that we still don't have PS5 stocked regularly in stores?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I thought it would be cool to do a remembering Anton Yelchin segment. This Sunday is actually not only Father's Day and Juneteenth, but it's the anniversary of Anton's death, which is a very sad incident. Something happened where he got out of his car and he didn't have his car in park, and
it was a known recall on those Jeeps.
Yeah,
he did have it in park, didn't he?
It was a known issue. They slipped out of gear.
That's right. That's right. And it slipped out of gear and crushed him against his gate or something like it. Was it against his gate?
Gate or mailbox?
Yeah,
I think he parked it to get out and check the mailbox, and it rolled down and smashed him.
So sad, man. And I saw this, and I actually, I looked up, his IMDb, and I just wanted to pick a movie that I might not have seen, and I actually picked Odd Thomas, and I posted it, and you and a couple other people were like, "Oh my god, this is my favorite movie, and I love the books." And I'm just like, I never even fucking heard of this movie. And I'm just like, I just saw Anton was in it, and I figured I'd watch it because it's got to be halfway decent if Anton's playing in it. But I ended up liking it. It was a pretty good movie, man. It had a sad ending, but it was still solid. But man, I got to thinking, I was like, yeah, it'd be nice to kind of like talk about Anton and the great career that he had, obviously. I mean, from Star Trek to Green Room. He was in the Fright Night remake, and he worked a lot from as a kid to a young adult too. So he was pretty successful, being that he was only, how old was he? 20 something when he died?
Yeah. Young in his 20s.
Yeah. I mean, so pretty successful dude and a great actor. But if you get a chance this weekend, or when you hear this, go watch an Anton movie and remember him. I mean, the guy was a great actor, and I think you'll, if you haven't found movies that you enjoy by him, I guarantee you'll find one eventually. But what would you guys think is like your favorite role from Anton?
Odd Thomas, by far.
Star Trek. That's the only one.
He was great. Man. He was great in Star Trek, man. He had that character down. What was he played? it was the pilot.
Chekhov.
Yeah, Chekhov. Yeah, he was great as Chekhov, man. He had that accent down, and I mean, you wouldn't have known the difference between him and the original guy. But how about you, Mr. PBS?
I was a big fan of Green Room.
Green Room was good.
Green Room was good, yeah.
And they count that as horror, but I never really.
It was like suspense.
Yeah, I always thought it was more like a thriller. And
thriller, yeah.
It's all kind of mishmashes together sometimes.
But that was a good one. Patrick Stewart was in that. My personal favorite, I love the Fright Night remake. I love him in that movie, just the way he portrays the character and how he interacts with our boy Doctor Who, David Tennant, played in it. And then I'm not a Colin Farrell fan, but that's one of the few movies that I like Colin Farrell in.
I love Colin Farrell.
But man, like I said, I saw that article and I was like, man, it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's been this much time since he passed.
Yeah.
2016 was when this happened. And I remember when that happened, I was real shocked. Like, oh man, like he's so young,
Yeah.
And his career was just starting to really take off, as an adult anyways. But man,
just imagine checking your damn mail, your car slips out of gear,
and you look back and you're like, fuck, like of all the ways to go, I mean, what a shitty accident.
Yeah.
What a terrible accident. But man, what a bright dude. And I mean, even now, like I was reading the Twitter feed in this, and I mean, people just have lovely things to say about him. I mean, I don't think he had a bad experience with anybody really, but a super talented actor. And I mean, it's sad that, the good ones die young. What can you say? But yeah, just terrible. And if you get a chance, definitely check out a Anton Yelchin movie.
I know people are waiting for like the next Star Trek sequel to come along and see how they kind of write him out and hopefully give him some kind of send off.
Yeah. I mean, they'll have to say like he took another position somewhere or something. It'd be nice to, just hear him say that, and then maybe kind of dedicate the movie to him. Mm-hmm. I think they'd have to do that. But yeah, he was such a great part of the Star Trek movies. I don't know if I'd say maybe between him and what's his face that played Scotty.
You say Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg. They were probably my favorite characters out of the new Star Trek movies. Yeah. But man, and Odd Thomas, I gotta give it to you. It is a phenomenal movie, and that movie was made in 2013. I'm like, how did I not know about this movie? You're probably just now hearing about it.
Correct. Yeah.
But
it just kind of flies under the radar. But I think mainly because it was it's a fairly extensive book. No, we're not talking like 2 or 3 books. It's got a very extensive book history behind it.
Yeah, and a lot of people that are into those books, I mean, they're fucking into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it probably just doesn't get the accolades of the press just because it was one of what could have been a series, and then they just had to kill it.
It looked like it had a pretty decent budget too. I mean, the movie was, it was well shot. William Dafoe's actually in it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean,
that was kind of like the best part, like all this stuff going on, and Willem Dafoe's just trying to have a date night and bang his wife.
Right. He keeps bugging him. Mm-hmm. He's like, it better be worth it. But yeah, it was Odd Thomas. He can see like dead people.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of has like premonitions in his dreams and stuff. So,
well, they can communicate with him. It's not that he can see him. They can actually communicate with him.
I'll check it out.
They're like, this motherfucker tried to kill me. And, he's got to try to he tries to solve the crimes or whatever.
Like a supernatural detective kind of.
Yeah. But it's pretty good, man. And you can actually watch it for free on Tubi. So,
and it's on Amazon Prime.
Is it on Amazon Prime?
Oh,
great. Well, you can watch it on Amazon Prime without any commercials. That's the way I would recommend to watch it.
Yeah.
But definitely a great flick. And, this weekend after you listen to the show or next week, whenever you do it, go find an Anton movie and watch it. You won't have a bad experience. But moving along here, we've got 2 topics left. And I guess we'll just start this next one off. The big rumor this week, or news, whatever you want to call it, that came out of was it Monster Palooza that was last weekend?
I think it was one of those.
Yeah. Well, anyways, the news came out that Neve Campbell is not going to be in Scream 6. And then some more news came out that it was about pay. Neve Campbell wants to be paid supposedly, and Paramount Pictures was like, "No, we're cool. We're not going to do it." So, and they're already shooting Scream 6 now, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're ready to. I mean, it's coming out in like a year or less.
Yeah, I mean, they're on a tight timeline or schedule, but and this had an uproar on the internet like you wouldn't believe. What's his face that played the who's our boy that was the one killer?
Jamie Kennedy.
Not Lillard. Jamie Kennedy.
Screech.
Not the other one.
Lillard.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard spoke out. Jamie Kennedy spoke out on his little YouTube channel that he has. And somebody else spoke out. Oh, our other dude. You can't kill what is it? Dewey. I'm forgetting his name.
Everybody hates
David Arquette.
David Arquette.
David Arquette spoke out. And I mean, everybody's like, they're all saying the same thing. Scream, it's not Scream without Neve Campbell.
I wonder what like the what she wants versus what they want to pay her. I wonder.
I would be curious to see the numbers on that.
Yeah, like is it obviously has to be it's a big.
She wants. Listen, man, she's carried the franchise. Whatever Neve Campbell's asking for, and I think there was some issue with like they wanted to film over a certain amount of days, and she wanted X amount per day to film, kind of like the Bruce Willis special in whatchamacallit, Expendables. And they turned him into a big joke, which now we know why he wanted so much money, because he was, his career is coming to an end.
Yeah.
But everybody says nothing but positive things about Neve Campbell. She never complains on set. She's always there. She works hard. And I mean, this is kind of like the first time she's, asked for something and not.
I almost wonder, in these situations, like, was she asking for a lot of money because she didn't want to come back?
It doesn't say. Well, I mean, it sounded like she was on board to come back. Because I mean, at first when they announced it, she said, "Yeah, I'll come back" or something like that. I thought, but I mean, it's just like, do you do a Halloween movie without Jamie Lee Curtis? I mean, when they did them,
you do some of them.
But when they did them, they bombed. And look what they did. They brought her back for the reboot, and it worked out perfectly. Let's be honest with it. The last Scream was successful because they brought back 3 original characters. Let's face it. I mean, it would have been good, but do you think it would have had the box office success if Neve Campbell, David Arquette, and Courtney Cox weren't in it?
Well, that's probably what it has to do with is the last one was successful enough where she's like, okay, you guys made this much money, then.
And she wants her cut. And with all due respect, she deserves to be paid, I think. But I mean, listen, her line at Whorehound for an autograph was insanely stupid all weekend. And from what I'm hearing, it's insanely stupid all over the country at every other convention that she's doing.
I've seen TikToks talking about even like Matthew Lillard, like people are lined up for him and everything.
Yeah. I mean, so, I understand that this is Paramount owns the rights to Scream now. So it's not new line doing this. And, Wes Craven's gone, so there's no pull there, but, you got to realize who's the face of the franchise and why people are going to see the movie. Like, do you think people are going to see the movie to see the characters that they have no connection with? Because I mean, I don't really feel a connection with the new characters that were in that movie. Like, I went to go see Scream for Neve fucking Campbell and David Arquette and Courtney Cox. That's what made me want to go to the theater. And for this one, if there isn't any original characters in it, I might just say, why do I need to see that in the theater? I'll just wait until it streams in a month or two. It'll be on Paramount at some point. Yeah. They're proving that they're just letting movies go super quick.
I put it in the group chat, but I was kind of under the impression before the last one even came out that this was sort of going to be the last one with any original cast anyway.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised. I mean, I wouldn't say surprised that they were asking, obviously, her to come back. She is the face of the franchise. But
I get that
kind of
they
got the vibe that they were done with the original characters.
This was a reboot to get rid of them and start with a new generation and new
Right.
fresh faces and
But
different people. And
they didn't get rid of all of them. So, I mean, I think if you want to do a Scream movie without Neve, it's got to be a total reboot. And because, I mean, the way Scream is set up, it revolves around the stab movies and someone's obsession with Sydney. So, I mean, how are you going to pull that without, I mean, obviously there's a new story, new faces happen in this one. So they're obviously going to have to make Stab 7 or whatever. And
they were already up to Stab 8 because there was
was it Stab 8 or they were bitching about it in that movie. But
because Scream was basically just making fun of all the people who didn't like Star Wars, that part.
Right.
Didn't like Rian Johnson.
But I mean, they're gonna end up writing themselves into some plot hole of some sort, But I don't know. I mean, I guess should we reserve judgment until we see it? Sure, but I mean, me personally, I just think Scream isn't Scream without someone from the original cast. So that's my opinion. What do you think, Hot Sauce?
It was like he said, it was kind of like, this is the last hurrah. We're gonna start fresh. This is gonna be a new generation, a new blood. We're gonna just pay homage by having these people back. Now we're on new ground here. Let's go. And if you read the one article that I think that was shared, she didn't really want to do it before she did this one. Like, she didn't really want to do it. And then it was like, with Wes Craven being gone, okay, I'll do it. We'll kind of do it and just kind of wrap things up. So is she saying she wants too much money? It's like when you have a contractor come out for a small job and he quotes you $52,000 for an $8,000 job because he don't want to fucking do it. He don't want to tell you he don't want to fucking do it. He's going to quote you 52 grand and hope to God you don't say you want him to do it. And if you do, he just made 52 grand for an $8,000 job.
Here's my point, though. Do you think Scream would have been successful without them in the movie?
No. To flat out answer it as a yes or no question, no, it would not have. But
that was sort of the selling point of that one.
Yeah.
That was it was to get everybody there to say, hey, look, this is your sign off. Come out, see your people again. We're starting new. So I'm totally okay if she's not in it going forward, but I get why someone would want her around.
I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to be excited and wanting to go to the movies opening night like I did with this Scream. But
who doesn't love it when Ghostface comes out for the first time and like every movie says hello, Sydney?
Yeah, I mean, and they did play a lot of off of nostalgia in that last one.
A lot.
So, I mean, they played off of it big time.
A lot of fan service in that movie.
Yeah. And I mean, where do you go with this one now? I mean, obviously they'll probably still have Skeet in it, telling that crazy girl to do shit or whatever. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's just one of those things like, if you wanted her and she's willing to do the job, just pay her the money and get it the fuck over with. Like, it's not like you're not going to make the money back at the box office if her name is attached to it. That's my opinion.
Here's a few quick numbers from Deadline. So the last Scream 5 grossed 140 million worldwide. Franchise total earnings has been 740 million. They don't really have any numbers for Neve Campbell, but Forbes reported that Courtney Cox made 1 million for Scream, 5 million for Scream 2, and 7 million for Scream 3. And then she said Neve Campbell said she made decent money for 3 at least. So,
well, Courtney had that Friends salary to compete with, probably.
Yeah,
not at least not for the first one, or maybe even the second one, but after that,
was she making $1 million an episode at Friends?
Toward the end,
yeah,
towards the end, them last few seasons,
they made stupid money for those last couple seasons. Well, so what do you think, Kyle? Are you agreement, disagreement?
Like I said, I thought they were done with him anyway. So
you don't give a shit, do you?
Yeah, I was kind of like at the end of that last one, I'm like, okay, cool, let's move on. If we're gonna make more, let's go where we're gonna. Go.
It's kind of like, did you give a shit about the MTV series though?
I haven't watched it. Some people liked it.
I tried to watch it and I was like, man, I didn't care because the Scream people weren't in it, just didn't give a shit about it, but never really got me hooked anyways. But I don't know. I guess I'm the lone guy in here. I want the Scream people in it. You guys don't give a shit.
Now, if he's filling in for Zilla, he has to agree with you. So it's a split. It's a split show.
Well, I think he would agree with it because
I think I agree with that.
He's
totally on board with that.
He's a Neve Campbell fan, so he wants Neve in the movie. That's his final girl. Remember?
Yeah. Like I said, I definitely, assuming she was asking for something remotely within reason, I'd be like, yeah, give it to her. This is her franchise.
I just feel like it's her franchise. If you want her in the movie, just pay her the fucking money.
Give her the money and then kill her off.
Yeah, and then get rid of her. That way you don't have to worry about it in the next movie.
Yeah.
I mean, what's so hard about that? I mean, eventually somebody's going to kill Sydney. I mean, as many psychos are obsessed with Stab, and then they've tried to kill her all these years.
But that seemed to me like you can create a good like story around that, like killing her. And
I'm Sidney Prescott. Of course, I've got a gun.
Would that'd be like an idea for a Scream movie that like they make the last Stab movie, like they kill Sydney in Stab.
Yeah.
And now somebody wants to kill her
in real life. See, maybe you just uncovered their plot for the next movie.
I'd be curious because
without her, they're not going to.
Yeah.
Because I'm always curious because the Scream movies are known for sort of commenting meta on movies in general.
Right.
So I'd be curious how they do that for the next one. I thought they did that good with part of the reason the last one was a success because they did that well.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to how they comment on this one.
All right. So we've got one final topic tonight. This is it, I promise. And we're going with HBO Max's documentary on George Carlin, The American Dream.
Hot Sauce is shaking his head already. Did he make it through?
Nope.
You didn't make it through it?
Nope.
I had to watch it. I just forgot.
I couldn't. Man. I just couldn't, man. That was... You're giving me 3 hours that should have been about an hour and 30, hour and 45 in one shot.
It was a super long documentary, but man,
way too long.
I mean, I never really took the time to look up George Carlin's career, but I didn't know that he was like the clean dress 60s comedian guy. I always thought he was the hippie, pot smoking guy,
long-haired guy,
hated the government and hated everybody else. You know. But yeah, I mean, they got in a lot of detail on George Carlin's
life. Too much detail.
Yeah, I mean, between his first wife and then him finding another love later in life, and some of the last messages, and they had voicemail things of him singing love songs to the one girl. But yeah, I didn't know about all that. I didn't know that there was a drug problem in his first marriage. What was she hooked on? Something.
Everything.
She was an alcoholic.
She was an alcoholic.
Yeah. He was kind of into drugs, and she was kind of an alcoholic.
Was he on heroin or something at one point?
Cocaine, I think, was the number one they brought up.
But they said he would be out for weeks on benders and come home like, hey, what's going on?
I thought I read right after he died, they released sort of like a memoir called Last Words, I think. And I thought there was a story in there where his daughter said, he got her out of bed super early one morning because he was high, and he wanted her to go out watch the sun or something in case it was the last day or something like that. Some really weird shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Did you guys watch the Last Norm comedy special?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's really good.
What's that on Netflix?
Yeah,
Netflix.
And they he does it, and he wanted to do it in a live studio, but because during COVID, so he does it at home, and just it's like a one take thing, and they get a bunch of comedians at the end, and they sit around and talk about kind of his life and special. It's really good.
Man, yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah,
I was surprised by how much of this documentary was sort of in his own words.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they read a lot of journals off. It seemed like, didn't? I mean, him writing certain things and stuff.
A bunch of shit we didn't fucking need.
Yeah,
a bunch of shit. Look, and trust me, I love George Carlin. I am a huge George Carlin fan. I've got George Carlin DVDs. I've got a shit ton of George Carlin. I got a George Carlin book. I love George Carlin.
Anytime I'm like, what was that one George Carlin joke? And I go right to hot sauce, and he's like, oh, it's this one right here.
That shit was too much, man. Because I put on the first one, And it was a little bit later in the day, a little bit later in the evening. My wife was in bed. I was like, hey, I'm going to watch this, get into it. Finally, you guys had watched it or started it, at least was one episode in. And
episode one really covers a lot.
And I'm just slogging through it. And I mean, I'm slogging through it and I'm watching this and I'm going, this is an hour and 45 fucking minutes. And there's a second one still to go. I think I fell asleep and I turned it back on the next night. And I didn't get through the first one. I didn't even start the second one. It was too much.
It is a documentary that I don't know,
Ken Burns would be fucking proud, buddy.
Yeah.
I think Judd Apatow did it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's kind of notorious for his movies being longer than
milked the fuck out of George Carlin's life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was shit I just did not know or expect about George Carlin that got, talked about in this. But, and I mean, it's funny, like, how many times did he have to reinvent himself? Mm-hmm. I mean, we're talking decade after decade after decade, and he still hung with the best comedians there at the end. So, I mean, the dude, I mean, he was a master at his craft. I mean, I'll say that. I mean, how many comedians do you know hang in there all of their adult life?
No,
not too many.
Not even his adult life, even when he was younger.
Yeah.
His whole life, pretty much.
But I didn't realize he had, how many heart attacks did he have?
At least a couple. He had that big one, like in the 80s. That was like the big one. That kind of got him, had him change his life.
But man, George Carlin, man, that is a funny motherfucker, though. I mean, a lot of his stuff just rings true to today still. I mean, so, I mean, that shows you, I mean, how much shit hasn't really changed. But man, a super long documentary. I don't know. I mean, even for the super fan, such as Hot Sauce, it is quite a challenge to watch it all. But
how long was the second episode? Is it as long as the first?
Not quite, but almost.
See,
that first episode is literally almost 2 hours.
It's an hour 44. The runtime Rob. It's an hour and 44.
Runtime Rob.
It's an hour 44. Trust me, I looked at it many times.
I thought it was closer to almost 2 hours. The first episode.
Rob, excuse me. It's an hour and 49 minutes.
But I mean, and it does cover a lot. But if you skip to the second episode, it kind of gets to more of his 90s stuff that more people are familiar with.
Yeah. I didn't even know about, like, what was the one, the pea joke or whatever? The peas and
that was actually sort of like my favorite thing about the documentary, because that was Rick Moranis making fun of George Carlin.
Yeah,
he do words about, skits about words or whatever. And I had to look those up when I was done. I only did like a couple of them, but those Rick Moranis making fun of George Carlin was really funny.
Yeah,
and I think they said they don't comment it on the documentary, I don't think, but they said George saw it, and George said he was kind of like really taken aback by it. because it was funny, and it was true about how his sort of persona was at the time. Well, like I said, I mean, he reinvented himself. He started out as a radio DJ.
Yeah, that's right.
He gets in a duo with this other guy who kind of shows him the ropes of the early days. Goes out on tour after he meets his wife, and his wife's like a waitress or something at one of the clubs.
Yep.
Takes his daughter out on tour with him. Then it kind of goes into him starting to become like the counterculture guy a little bit. He does the 7 words that you can't say.
I just thought it was so funny that he was like a variety show host.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just
that was cool. Those couple of clips.
You would not fucking expect George Carlin to be in a suit and being like, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen." Like, it's just not him. But yeah, there's a lot to learn in that documentary, but
hour 51 and an hour 45. I'm sorry. Hour 45 was the second one. Hour and 51 was the first one.
I told you were wrong.
Dude, it's too much, man. It's too fucking much.
I know my run times.
It's too much.
It is. I think the word is comprehensive. If you ever watch one George Carlin thing, it's these 2 episodes. You pretty much know everything.
You're done.
George Carlin.
Mr. PBS was right at home though. He saw that. He was like, "Oh, this is 2 hours."
Even I, before I turned it on, I'm like, 2 episodes that are almost 2 hours each. I'm like, I don't know.
Did you get in your pajamas and you put your little pajama hat on and light the candles, open the window up to get a breeze?
For episode 1, yeah, I did start episode 1 the first night. Watched episode 2 with lunch the next day or whatever.
Turn the generator on to power the TV.
I got a bicycle for that, so I can pedal and get the generator going.
You know, like I said, it's on HBO Max. Watch if you have the time to put into it. And if you're a fan of stand-up comedy, you kind of owe it to yourself to watch and see some of the history of it.
I think Hot Sauce should at least watch episode 2, even if he never finishes episode 1.
Yeah.
I think Apatow did the Gary Shandling one too, didn't he?
I thought he did.
Think so. Yeah.
That was good. I watched that one.
Yeah.
How long is that one?
I think that's only one episode.
Not as long.
Yeah.
But it's really good though.
Yeah, I actually fell asleep in the middle of the first one. It took me a week to finish this documentary, you know. But
it seemed like it might have done better if it was like 3 episodes, but kind of like punchier, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there are times where it kind of drags, and like when he's reading the diary things, and you're just like, oh, come on, can we just get to some, you know, what was George up to in the fucking 80s?
Give me a half hour to 45 minutes to stretch it out over 4 or 5 episodes. I'm good with that. I think I would have been able to digest it a little bit better.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end, you know, did I get something out of it? Sure. It was fucking long though. We'll say that. So if you got time to burn, go ahead and watch it. But if you're a busy person, just take our word for it. It was
just if you're too busy to spend 4 hours with George Carlin, just watch a couple of his specials from the 90s, especially.
Yeah, you'll get the picture. Yep. But that's all we have for you for episode 134. My call to action, as always, is to share the show. Share it on your social media accounts. Share it with your mama, your sister, your brother, their friends. Just get one person to listen, and from there, they'll get another person to listen. That's all the call to action is.
Share it with Tom Cruise, whoever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking you, you know, when we post the episode and you see it, just like share to my audience. And that's all you got to do.
Sleazy needs Tom Cruise to play him in the movie.
And maybe
about making the Sleazy podcast a success.
And maybe type a message like, I love this show. I love it so much.
Podcasting in my veins.
Yeah. I was born with podcasting.
At least it ain't Tiger Blood.
Podcast and say, this is awesome.
Tom Cruise sent me here.
That's all you have to do.
It's the algorithm.
Facebook, Instagram, I don't give a shit. Just share it. But that's it. And we should be back in a couple weeks. So we'll be on our bi-weekly schedule, hopefully, again, unless an emergency comes up. But like I said, that's all we have for you. And remember, keep it sleazy.
Thanks for listening to the Sleazy Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and remember, listen to Sleazy.